which has inalienable, invincible rights. That is not anywhere else. We have invincible rights that are more ancient and higher than any human statute. Now that is some statement. I know two Canadians who have changed their citizenship because of this article alone. In no other constitution does it state you have invincible rights. Now the Constitution is not perfect, but it affords the opportunity to invoke ancient Breton law. We have invincible rights that are more ancient and higher than any human statute. Now I know the guys will be explaining later on, I explained a little bit of it too, about statutes, codes, acts, regulations. They're under admiralty jurisdiction. They are not under common law jurisdiction, and they only apply to us when we contract or agree under admiralty law rules. So we can invoke this, Article 41, Section 1, at any stage, because you don't have to be sitting around a family table 24/7 to be considered a family. We are all a part of the family. This is how important the Constitution is. Now, the government are responsible for a silent takeover. What's happening in this country is the same that's happening in America and what JFK warned us about. We have a silent coup d'etat that's going on in Ireland at the moment, and it's backed by a group called Common Purpose, and I'll explain a little bit about them in a minute. Here we have in the Shannon Chamber the national flag, but it's not green, white and orange, three colours. It's not a tricolour. It's got four colours. It's got a yellow fringe around it. That's a violation of Article 7 of the Constitution. And what they're stating here, this has only appeared on the flag since the 22nd of February 2007. I've been in touch with the government. It took me 9 months to get any type of response. They denied it. They said it was a flag of ceremony. My reply, back and forth for 9 months with letters and emails. I said, when it's also in the Supreme Court. You'll see this yellow fringe in the Supreme Court. Okay? It's a flag under Admiralty law. Admiralty, maritime, banking law, corporate law. So you've corporatised the country, but they're not telling you. They don't want you to know. It's up to all of us to recognise the secret language of symbolism and legalese. Now, we have Dun & Bradstreet here. They have over 160 or 170 million businesses. You can Google search. And here we have the government of Ireland, it's a company. The government of Ireland registered building in Merrion Street. They have registered the government as a company, as a corporation. This is how you can't get justice in the courts, because the courts are operating under Admiralty jurisdiction, and the country is our nation is a registered company. Here we have the Garda Síochána. Garda Representative Association, Garda Síochána, registered office, Phoenix Park. Garda Síochána, Phoenix Park. These people are operating for profit. Circuit courts, that's just one. Court services, Monaghan, they're all the same. If you go into Dun & Bradstreet, you can type anything in there, you get all the information you want. It's fairly self-evident. Here's our passport. We're heading for the microchip population. This is the electronic passport. So this conspiracy is for a global government and a new world order with a reduced microchip population. Now that may sound crazy, but it's already happening. In America, they have a new driving license called the ADL, Advanced Driving License, and what you can do with that, you can actually buy your groceries with your driving license. This is the new regime. We're heading towards a fascist takeover. It's not confined to America or Ireland, it's actually a global agenda, and it'll be achieved by merging the unions together, the global unions, the African, Asian Pacific, the European Union, the South and North American Union. The North American Union was signed in 2005. They've linked Canada, Mexico, and the States with a new currency called the Euro. Now here, if anybody thinks, oh, this is a conspiracy and it's made up, you got to check this information yourself. We're giving you the information that you can investigate. Here we have, it's only around the corner. If you're on a tea break, you can just skip around to Fowle Street, aptly numbered 13. This is the city sheriff's office, just in case you think there's no such thing as a sheriff. Just around the corner. You'll see the sheriff, his name on the nameplate at the door and on a little plaque. They don't really want it to be advertised quite a lot, for obvious reasons. These rob you by the pen. Now here on the right is the original symbol for the European Union, the original poster. It's a depiction of the Tower of Babel, as you can see. Many tongues at one voice. Here we have the conditioned peoples of Europe. Their minds have been moulded. This is the symbolism. Here we have a little baby who has not yet been programmed or conditioned into a New World Order concept. This is what the image means. You have here the inverted El Diablo symbol of Baphomet. It's satanic, and this is where we're heading if you don't stop it. Now, the Treaty of Lisbon is very important in this regard. The Treaty of Lisbon is essentially the EU constitution, and if Lisbon is ratified, it means that the Irish constitution will be overruled. After 800 years of tyranny, we end up with a draft constitution only for our government to hand it over, or wishing the people to vote yes. It will also instill a hidden death penalty under the EU Charter, which states that there is no death penalty, and then there's a little pause. It says, except in the case of wars, civil unrest, or riots. I think we have plenty of wars today, a lot of civil unrest. And if we walk down the street, anything could be constituted as a riot if we are celebrating. I usually, if I'm approached and somebody says, what are you protesting against? I usually say, I'm not protesting, I'm actually celebrating. Here's I think it's, I'm not sure if the members of the UK party, they're congratulating us on the no vote who saved the skins of essentially 500 million people throughout Europe who were not afforded the luxury of a referendum. Because the reason why we had a referendum is because our constitution demands it. So here are a couple of images from these illustrations. It's a good website to go in. You'll get a picture says 1,000 words. And his imagery is excellent. Don't need to comment on it a lot. This is the structure here of the New World Order structure. This is the state where we are now. We imagine that we have governments acting in our own interest, which we now realise that's not the case. They're registered corporations. We're actually the employees of that corporation. That's why we're slapped with an unconstitutional income tax on our butt to pay the national debt that doesn't exist really in the first place. It's all created. So the idea is to join the unions for a world government and a microchip population to replace the freedom of cash. It will replace everything, your driving license, your ID, your passport, you name it, it's all contained in the microchip implant, which was launched in 2000 in New York by Verichip Corporation. They're all there. They have, at the moment they have produced chips called new chips. They're only half the size of a grain of sand, and they can be administered through mandatory vaccination programs. Even the people who are administrating the vaccines are not aware of this. This is essentially all the entities of the New World Order.